revealed my spark. I was searching for the essence of existence, wanted to find you, but I didn't see an entrance. I came from a distance where everything was different. I called out to you and you showed me that you listen. From then we became best friends. I gave my all to you and you showed me who I am. I am staying by your side to bask in your light. In your mercy I reside. I won't let go, even in a million years. You're there when I'm up, you're there when I'm down, so I'm staying here. I won't let go, even in a million years. You're there when I'm up, you're there when I'm down, so I'm staying here. When is it I can lift you? When everything is yours. Every time I walk straight, there's another door to help me achieve everything I need and more. More, nothing less than going to and fro, trying to hear that voice from heaven. Your direction, I climb, but I fall flat like bread with no leaven. Please come pick me up, never ever put me down. Give me all your love and bring that around me out. I won't let go, even in a million years. You're there when I'm up, you're there when I'm down, so I'm staying here. I won't let go, even in a million years. You're there when I'm up, you're there when I'm down, so I'm staying here. השמיים, לחיים, לחיים.
Shalom, shalom, shalom. Welcome everybody to Purim at TBI. I know that some of you are still enjoying your delicious Purim Palooza pre-Purim pizza experience. But I'm inviting you as soon as you can finish your lovely to come on down and join us in the sanctuary so we can celebrate Purim together. We're going to start off with a couple of Purim songs. Everybody, I think, has a Purim song sheet. And let's... Oh, when you hear the whole Megillah, you will get up Purim thriller, and you won't have to sit stiller when you hear the whole Megillah. It's a story of bravery, it's a story of deception and deceit, it's a story of victory. And when did it happen? When did it happen? Can I hear from someone who is somewhere in this bayou when it happened? It's the day on the Hebrew calendar that's happening right now as soon as it's sunset. When did it happen? Of course, it happened on the 14th of Adar. When you hear the whole Megillah, you will get a Purim thriller, and you won't have to sit stiller when you hear the whole Megillah. It's a story of happen? When did it happen? Tammy, you're a professor. Do you know when it happened? A long time ago. On what date? It happened on the 14th of Adar. The terrible, the Amaleki kind of a guy whose name was Haman. But let me ask you a question. When did this story happen? When did it happen? Somebody who's not a professor at the Claremont Graduate University should know. Do you know? You're the president of our congregation. How about you? You don't. Do you know when it happened? How about if you're under the age of, I'd say about 10? Anybody know when it happened? What day? It happened on the 14th of Adar. Song sheets, number 1. Before we go on, just a couple of little security things. Here at Temple Beth Israel, we take your security and the security of our community very seriously. Please notice the numerous exits all around this sanctuary and social hall. Please also notice that in your seat backs there are instruction cards that direct you to such things as the fire extinguisher, the AD, the device that helps you if your heart's not going so good. And we also just recommend, if for some reason, which we don't think really is going to happen, of course, we have to evacuate. We will gather at the far western end of the parking lot where the new wall is. Isn't it a lovely new wall? It looks almost like Jerusalem sandstone, except it's a little too red. Avanarisha, rush, rush, rush. Avanarisha, rush, rush, rush. Hakurim, hakurim, ze'el ze'shochim banot, machanim, matakim, tunim mikdanot. Avanarisha, 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 Arashani. Purim's here, Purim cheer. It's a holiday so dear. Aspen song, bring along. Groggers loud and clear. Let's hear the groggers. Let's hear the groggers. Let's hear the groggers. Grogger time is here. Purim's here, Purim cheer. Gifts arrive from far and near. He's sweet, big and wheat. Pigs and pies appear. Here go the groggers. Here go the groggers. Here go the groggers. Grogger time is here. Purim day, such a happy holiday. We make noise with our toys, sing and dance and play. Let's hear the groggers. Let's hear the groggers. Let's hear the groggers. When we say that evil, that awful, that terrible, that disgusting, that despicable name, who can think of another way to describe that name? Anybody just call it out? Is it ugly? Yeah. Is it awful? Yeah. What else? Come on, y'all know the English language. Think of something. What is in the back there? and invite anyone who's still in the back to come forward as we start our Purim service. As soon as you're ready, the Megillah reading will happen in a couple minutes, but we are first going to enter into a little tefillah. And it's Purim, so you will notice that our tefillah is not taken necessarily as seriously as we might otherwise. But we'll start with Baruch Hu, which for those of you who are in the pews here, the Sidurim are there. We'll find Baruch Hu on page 28. I'm going to give a shout out to everyone who's online with us. Not going to be doing a lot of stuff from the prayer book today, but you will find Baruch Hu on page 28. And I invite you to rise. I invite you to rise. Bears included. Ba 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 Baruch Hu. 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 Where's get the spirit now? Let's turn to page 31. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars, creator of the tide of time and light. You guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise be you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. We turn to Shema Yisrael. If it's your custom to remain standing, please do so. As we join together. Let's see. Let's do Oh yeah. What wrong key? Oh yeah. Tell you something. Oh wait a minute. It's Shema, right? Page 36. You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your might. Take to heart these instructions with which I charge you this day. Impress them upon your impressionable children. Recite them when you stay at home and when you're away, when you lie down and when you get up. Bind them as a sign on your hand and let them serve as a symbol on your forehead. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Thus shall you remember to observe all my commandments and be holy to your God. I am Adonai, your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am Adonai, your God. We turn to page 40 for the words of Mi Chamocha. You may recognize this melody. It's the Purim song. Kifada Adonai et Yaakov, Ugoalo Biyad Chazak Mimenu, Baruch Ata Adonai, Ga'al Yisrael. La 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 Adonai, la 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 So we are going to take a very brief moment of silent reflection, our Amidah section, which we include in every service. And I invite you to just rise in your seats if you are comfortable doing so, and take a nice, deep, cleansing breath as I sing the words in your prayer book on page 46, asking the Holy One to open our lips, open our mouths so that our lips may declare your praise. Adonai, Sephatai may be seated. Just want to mention an addition to our liturgy for Purim. It's called Al Hanisim. Al Hanisim ve'al HaPurkan ועל הגבורות ועל התשועות ועל המלחמות שעשית לאבותינו ואימותינו בימים ההם בזמן הזה. This is usually included on Purim and on Hanukkah in a similar format because it is a prayer of gratitude for all of the miracles that had happened at this time in years past. The text reads, "We thank you for the miracles, for the redemption, for the mighty deeds and saving acts brought about by you, and for the wars which you waged for our ancestors in days of old at this season. Bimei Mordechai ve'Esther b'Shushan habira." In the days of Mordecai and Esther, the wicked Haman arose in Persia, plotting the destruction of all the Jews. He planned to destroy them in a single day on the 13th of Adar and to permit the plunder of their possessions. But through your great mercy, his plan was thwarted and his scheme frustrated. We therefore thank and bless you, O great and gracious God. Song sheets. Bottom left-hand column into the right, and we'll go all the way down. Oh, once there was a wicked, wicked man. Haman was his name, sir. He lied and lied about the Jews. They were not to blame, sir. Oh, today we'll marry, marry me. Oh, today we'll marry, marry me. Oh, today we'll marry, marry me. And not so touching. And Esther was the lovely queen of King Ahasuerus. When Haman said he'd heard us all, by how he did scare us. Oh, today we'll marry, marry me. Oh, today we'll marry, marry me. Oh, today we'll marry, marry me. And not some touching. But Mordecai, who wasn't bold, said, what a dreadful villain. If we don't hang them once, my dear, our lives are worth a shilling. Oh, today we'll marry, marry me. Oh, today we'll marry, marry me. Oh, today we'll marry, marry me. And not some touching. When Esther speaking to the king of Haman's plot made mention, ha ha, said he, oh no he won't. I'll spoil his bad of which, guess what time it is, ladies and gentlemen? It's time for the reading of the Megillah. You're right. You are right. So I'm going to ask you all in just a very short moment to please rise as I remove the Megillah from our ark, our Aron Kodesh. I'm going to just prepare myself for the Megillah reading here briefly. And I think I'm ready now. So if you will please rise as the ark is open. You may be seated. So I'm going to read just a bit directly from the Megillah itself, and then I will read an abbreviated English version. And, oops, sorry. And before we read the Megillah, we have 3 blessings. You don't have these in the prayer books in your seats, but I will chant them for you. Just want to show you that this is a wooden case that encloses the scroll. So a Megillah is a scroll by sort of definition. So this is handwritten on parchment, and it is kept in this very cute wooden container. Please rise for the brachot. Oops, excuse me for a second. Yeah, but I'm okay, so I'm going to do little pieces of Hebrew, and then I'll read the English story for this. Do you want to read it? You want to read the end? Okay. Are you going to read from the scroll? Because we'll have to. I'll read from my iPad. Because I have it on the iPad. Because otherwise we have to roll up the whole scroll. So I should. Okay. So Yitzhak is going to. He's going to read the Megillah, the last portion of the Megillah for us. Thank you very much, Yitzhak. The brachot. There are 3 blessings. One is the blessing over the reading of the Megillah. Second one is the blessing of thanking God for the miracles that have happened in this time and seasons past. And then a shehechianu, expressing our gratitude that we are all here to share the Megillah experience together again, and may it be for many years to come. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al mikra Megillah. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of all, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to read the Megillah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asa nisim lavoteinu v'imotenu bayamim hahem bazman hazeh. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of all, who performed wondrous deeds for our ancestors in days of old at this season. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehecheyanu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. You may be seated. Vayhi b'mei Achashverosh hu Achashverosh hamolech mehod uve'ad kush sheva ve'esrim u'mea medina בימים ההם כשבט המלך אחשוורוש על כיסא מלכותו אשר בשושן הבירה בשנת 3 למולכו עשה משתה וכל שריו ועבדיו חיל פרס ומדי הפרטמים ושרי המדינות לפניו. This happened during the days of King Achashverosh, who ruled 127 provinces, stretching from India to Ethiopia. In the 3rd year of his rule, he made a feast for all of his princes, advisors, and army officers. At that party, the king showed off his great riches and the glory of his kingdom. The guests drank great quantities of wine from golden cups. Queen Vashti also made a feast for the women. On the 7th day of the feast, when the king was drunk with wine, he commanded his closest servants to bring Queen Vashti so that the people could see how beautiful she was. But Queen Vashti refused to parade before the drunken guests. This refusal enraged the king. He called a meeting of his experts on Persian law, and he asked what he should do to Queen Vashti, who had disobeyed him. Prince Memucan answered on behalf of the others. At this moment, he said, the wives of the princes of Persia and Media are answering their husbands in the same way Vashti answered you. That kind of attitude will cause family dissension. If the king agrees, let him issue a royal order to send Vashti into exile. Then the king should choose a new queen to replace her. The king and his advisors were pleased with the suggestion. So Achashverosh followed Memucan's advice. Chapter 2. Achan advarim ha'ele keshol chamat hamelech Achashverosh zachar al hashti et Vashti ve'ed asher asata ve'ed asher negizar aleha. Sometime later, when King Achashverosh calmed down, he realized how severely Vashti had been punished in relation to what she had done. To quiet him, his advisors suggested, let us search for the most beautiful young women in the kingdom, and the one whom the king chooses will become queen in place of Vashti. This plan pleased the king, and he approved it. There was a Jew in Shushan named Mordecai. Everybody go Morty, go Morty, go Morty. Huh. Okay, remember that. He had been carried into exile from Jerusalem along with the other Jews by Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon. Mordecai raised Esther, whose Hebrew name was Hadassah, his cousin, for she had no father and mother. Maybe it was his niece, we don't know for sure. Mordecai adopted Esther as his own daughter. When the king's order was publicized, many beautiful young women were brought to the king's harem in Shushan. Esther, too, was taken into the palace. She made an excellent impression upon Haggai, the keeper of the harem, and she followed Mordecai's instructions and told no one that she was Jewish. Meantime, Mordecai was concerned about Esther. Each day he stationed himself near the harem to find out what was happening to her. When Esther's turn came, she asked for nothing special except for what Haggai advised. The king loved Esther more than all of the other women, and he crowned her queen in place of Vashti. Even though she was queen, Esther continued to follow Mordecai's instructions. One day, as Mordecai was sitting at the palace gate, 2 rebellious officers were plotting to kill the king. Mordecai overheard the plot and told Esther. Esther immediately told the king in Mordecai's name. The plotters were questioned, and they confessed. They were then executed, and the details of this incident were officially recorded in the king's historical records. Chapter 3. Achar hadvarim ha'ele gidel hamelech Achashverosh Haman ben Hamadata ha'agagi vanase'ehu vayasem et hakiso me'al kol hasarim asher ito. Sometime later, King Achashverosh promoted Haman to be prime minister. Boo! The king ordered everyone to honor and bow down to Haman. Everyone did so except Mordecai. Thank you. You're a very good cue. Haman was furious. Haman, boo. Because Mordecai the Jew was the only one who refused to bow down to him. When Haman learned that Mordecai was Jewish, he decided to punish him as well as all the Jews in the kingdom. Then Haman slyly said to Achashverosh, "There is a group of people scattered through your kingdom whose customs are different from everyone else's and who do not obey the king's laws. For the sake of your kingdom, we should get rid of them, and we can plunder all of their wealth too." The king agreed, and he gave his signet ring to Haman, the enemy of the Jews, with which to seal and sign the order. So Haman dictated orders to all governors and princes, and it was sealed with the king's signet ring that all the Jews, men and women, young and old, were to be put to death on the 13th day of the month of Adar and plundered all of their possessions. The order was sent throughout the kingdom. Then the king and Haman sat down for a nice drink while the city of Shushan fell into panic and confusion. Reminds me of the train thing, causing confusion and delay. No? Nobody? I guess those of you with kids, maybe the train thing isn't a big deal. Thomas the Tank Engine. Back on track, chapter 4. Chapter 4. Mordecai yada et kol asher na'asa vayikra Mordecai et bigadav vayilbash shak ve'efer vayatze betoch ha'ir vayizak Za'aka gdola umara. When Mordecai became aware that all that had taken place, he went into mourning. He tore his clothing, put on sackcloth, and began to weep and moan outside the palace gate. Esther was very distressed when her maids informed her that Mordecai was in mourning, so she sent out her servant to see what the problem was. Mordecai told the servant about the extermination decree. He urged Queen Esther to plead with the king to save her people from destruction. Esther sent a message back stating, "Everyone knows that anyone who comes into the king's presence without being summoned is put to death, unless the king holds out his golden scepter. And I have not been summoned in over a month." Mordecai responded, saying, "Do you think that you'll escape the extermination decree just because you are a queen? If you do not intervene, I am positive that help for the Jews will come from somewhere else, but you and your family will perish. I believe that you were specifically chosen to be queen to save us from this emergency." So Esther sent this message to Mordecai: "Gather together all the Jews in Shushan and fast for me for 3 days and 3 nights. I and my servants will also fast, and in 3 days I will visit the king unannounced. And if I die, I die." Mordecai did what Esther asked. Chapter 5. Vayehi bayom hashlishi vatilbash Esther malchut vata'amod Bachatzar Beit HaMelech HaPnimim Nochach Beit HaMelech VeHaMelech Yoshev Al Kisei Malachuto Beveit HaMalchut Nochach Petach Habayit. Petach Habayit. Chapter 5. 3 days later, Aunt Esther entered the throne room dressed in her royal robes. The king held out his golden scepter to her, and Esther approached and touched the tip of his scepter. Then the king said to her, "Queen Esther, tell me what you want. Even if you ask for half my kingdom, it shall be yours." Esther said, "I would like to invite you and Haman to come to a banquet that I have prepared." So Haman and the king went, and during the banquet, when the king was drinking wine, he asked again, "Esther, tell me what it is you want. Even if you ask for half my kingdom, I will give it to you." Then Esther said, "I would like you and Haman to come to another banquet tomorrow. Then I will present my request." Haman left and was very happy. But when he saw Mordecai, he became angry again. Chapter 6. Balayla hahu nadada shenat hamelech vayomer lehavi et Esther hazichronot divrei hayamim vayihu nikraim lifnei hamelech. Chapter 6. That night, the king could not sleep, and he decided to have the historical records read to him. He heard about how his life had been saved when Mordecai reported the plot against him. He asked, "How did we reward Mordecai for saving my life?" The aides answered, "We did not reward him." And at that moment, Haman, arrived at the palace to ask the king to build an extra high gallows to hang Mordecai on. The servants ushered Haman into the king's chamber. The king asked, "What shall I do to honor a special man?" Haman, of course, thought the king wanted to honor him. And he answered, "Let him put on a royal robe which the king has worn, and a royal crown, and let him ride the king's horse. And then a servant of the king should walk ahead of the horse, shouting, 'This is the way the king honors those who serve him well.'" Then the king said to Haman, "Hurry, get my horse, my robe, and my crown, and take them to Mordecai, who sits at the palace gates. Do all this for him." After Haman returned home angry and dejected, the king's guards arrived to take him into the palace for the queen's second banquet. Chapter 7. V'yavo hamelech v'haman lishtod im Esther hamalaka vayomer hamelech le'Esther גם ביום השני במשתה היין, מה שאלתך אסתר המלכה ותינתן לך, ומה בקשתך ען חצי המלכות ותעש. At the second banquet, the king asked Esther once again, "What do you want, Esther? I will give you half my kingdom." Then Queen Esther answered, "Please, King Ahasuerus, all I ask for you is that you save my life and the life of my people, for we have been condemned to die." And the king said, "Who is this terrible person who planned to do this?" And Esther pointed to Haman and said, "There sits our enemy, the wicked Haman." Then one of the kings said, "Haman built an extra tall gallows for Mordecai in the courtyard. Hang Haman on his own gallows," ordered the king. And so they did. Chapter 8. Bayom hahu Natan hamelech Achashverosh le'Esther hamalka et Beit Haman tzurei haYehudim uMordechai ba lifnei hamelech ki higida Esther mahula. On that day, King Achashverosh gave the estate of Haman, enemy of the Jews, to Esther the queen. The king gave his signet ring, which had been given to Haman, to Mordecai. Go, Morty. Go, Morty. He then permitted Esther and Mordecai to issue new orders to permit the Jews to defend themselves should they be attacked. The order took effect on the 13th of Adar. In every city, as soon as the king's decree arrived, the Jews declared a holiday filled with joy and gladness. All right, Yitzhak, get ready. Chapter 9. Uvishneim asar chodesh hu chodesh adar vishlosha asar yom bo asher higia devar hamelech vidato leha'asod bayom asar siberu oivei ha'yehudim lishlot bahem v'nahafochu asher yishletu ha'yehudim Hema v'shonechem. The Jews defeated all their foes by the sword, including 500 in Shushan. Among those were Haman's 10 sons. But they did not take any booty. And on the 13th of Adar they rested, and on the 14th they celebrated their victory. The Jews of Shushan assembled on the 14th, and on the 15th they celebrated. That's why in Jerusalem we have 2 days of Purim. Therefore the Jews who live in the villages celebrate on the 14th of Adar with joyous feasting and by exchanging gifts of food. Yitzchak, bevakasha. Chapter 10.
וישם מלך אחשוורוש מס על הארץ ואיי הים וכל מעשה תוקפו וגבורתו, ופרשה גדולת מרדכי, אשר גידלו המלך, הלא הם כתובים על ספר דברי הימים, למלכי מדי ופרס, כי מרדכי יהודי, משנה למלך אחשוורוש, וגדול היהודים, ורצוי לרוב אחיו, דורש טוב לעמו, ודובר שלום לכל זרעו.
No, this is it. The Jews agreed to celebrate the holiday of Purim and to pass it on to their children. They also decided to observe these days every year wherever they live. The end. Woo! Backside of the song sheet. Left-hand side. Hey, man, you're a loser, you're a loser. Hating all the juice and night and day. You got hate in your heart, you're not so smart. Now's the time you must depart. We will rock you. We will rock you. Hey, man, Mordecai's a hero, you're a zero. Just like Nero fiddling around. You'll soon find out, without a doubt. We're hanging you, so now let's shout, singing, we will rock you. We will rock you. Now we start a new day, holiday. We'll call it Purim, happy day. Got Purim spiel, it's how we feel. We won the day, and that's real. We will rock you. We will rock you. One more time. We will rock you. Woo! So we're going to move towards the conclusion of our service with Aleinu L'Shabeach. I invite you, those who have Sidurim, to turn to page 282 for Aleinu. And rise, please, if you are able, as the ark is opened. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'ateit gedula liotzer breishi, shelo asanu kigoyei haratzon, velo samanu kemishpachot hadama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, vegor aleinu kechol hamonam. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. 287. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. You may be seated. Well, this coming day of Purim and the experience that we've just had together is filled with joy and gladness and rejoicing. We also recognize that For some of you, this may be a time of mourning and sadness, whether you're with us here in the sanctuary or online. So as we do at every tefillah service, we offer an opportunity for those who are in mourning period to say Kaddish Yatom, which you'll find on page 294. And if you're here in the sanctuary with us and choose to rise at this time, if it is your custom to honor those who may have no one to say Kaddish for them, I invite you to do so at this time. Kaddish Yatom, page 294. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma dibra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayachon u'vyomachon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ma'agala v'zman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach l'olam u'lalmei l'maya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudsha b'richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all Yisrael, to which we say, amen. And Laura, if I could ask your assistance, please, and maybe Judy as well, to dim the lights a little bit. I'm sure that there are some of you in the sanctuary who may have a cellular communication device. And even if you haven't downloaded the special burning candle app, at least you have your light on. Debbie's got it over there. And let's join together in the last song on the bottom right corner of our song sheet as we close our service this evening with Hey Jews. Hey Jews, you can't refuse. This is Purim, your special day. Remember Sameach, everyone. Thank you for joining us online. If you're here in the sanctuary, we'll gather for a little Humantash Nash. And happy Purim, everybody. Thanks, Yitzchak, for your Megillah reading. Thank you all who came in your finest Purim finery and for grogging so well. Thank you all. And thank you to Judy and to Laura and to Don Pollock on technology and to Barry Weisband and also Nathan for all your help as well. Lehitraot. See you soon. Don't forget Shabbat, 6:30 for Family Shabbat and 7:30 for regular Shabbat this coming Friday, and it's Women of TBI Shabbat. So see you then.